What is going on YouTube? Heroes Gaming back at you guys with another video. And just ahead of time, just so you guys know, I'm sick, so I might sound a little different. You may hear me sneeze and all of that, but there are going to be no cuts in this. We're going to be going straight at it. MLB Studios just finished one of their live streams where they talked about Road to the Show and franchise mode. So we are going to break down what they said, and I wrote down some key things they also said in that live stream. And mainly we're going to be talking about Road to the Show, but there are some franchise things in there too for you guys. So sit back and let's go for the ride. First and foremost, the number one thing I want to mention is the number one thing that they mentioned. It's the first thing that they mentioned, and that is no more ball player in Diamond Dynasty. So apparently our ball players are not directly linked or linked in any way with Diamond Dynasty, and our ball player Road to the Show character is strictly for Road to the Show, and now it is strictly in offline game mode. Something that I have been preaching for the last 2 years, for them to separate Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty from being in online game mode. And it looks like they have heard our cries and our frustrations with that, and our ball player is strictly tied to Road to the Show. I'm so excited about that one. And that, to me, that's like the number one. If they didn't do anything else, I'm happy with that. The next thing that they talked about, this is also going to be a Diamond Dynasty, is defensive moments. I'm guessing this has to do with whenever we would come to an at-bat and we would have to choose which moment or which task that we wanted to do that would help us upgrade our player a little bit more. So let's say if we hit a single that's plus or times 2 to contact or whatever option that we picked, or let's say if we hit a double, that would be plus or times 2 to our power rating. So I don't know what the defensive side is gonna pertain. I'm thinking it's going to be something like, get this out at first for +2 fielding or +2 reaction. So I'm thinking it's going to be something like that. I'm probably wrong, so if you guys have any other ideas of what defensive moments is, then just let me know in the comment section. The next thing that they talked about is new hairstyles and physics. Normally in the past, let's say we would get a mullet, or we would pick dreads. The dreads and mullet, the hairstyles would look good as they had them already in the game, but it was just the issue of the hair not moving. It would just like be there and like stick to your player and stick to the head, and there would be no movement, no physics, nothing. So this year, whenever you pick any sort of hairstyle that's long and it's gonna have a lot of movement to it, you're gonna see that movement when you're coming up to bat, when you're swinging, when you're running, when you're doing any type of movement. And they did also mention new hairstyles, but they didn't show us any. So that's going to be one of the things I'm going to be looking for whenever I boot up the game. Many of us already know that they are going to be implementing a female version for Road to the Show this year. So along with that, you're going to have, they mentioned it like a partner. So I don't know if it's going to be some type of rivalry you're going to have with this other female baseball player, but they're going to be adding somebody else as part of your story mode. We just don't know. We don't have too much information on that. They just said that they're going to be adding another person along in that story mode, and it's just for the female version. They didn't mention anything story mode wise about the male version of Road to the Show. So it could be like in old school 2K, I think it was 2K16 or 17, when you had the orange juice connection. I forgot what the guy's name was, but you would have someone on your team where if you had like good if you build up that connection in the game, then you can do a lot of different things as far as like in the game. You get boosted up attributes. So this may be the same thing, or it may be a situation where you are fighting to get a better draft stock and a draft pick, and then whoever gets drafted first, that's what happens, and that's the end of the story mode. Who knows? But that's going to be what they're going to be having in the female road to the show as far as story modes. Something else that's going to be returning in Road to the Show, not really a big thing. Podcasts are coming back. I think they're going to be having more people, different people, and more people in the podcast, but that's going to be returning. It was fun after a while, but after maybe 2 or 3 podcasts, a lot of us just skipped past them and just moved on. They didn't even say our player's name. So, and another thing is they added a lot more different audio names in Road to the Show. So hopefully they'll be able to say our player's first and last name. I don't think that was ever an issue before, but I'm guessing they just added a couple of more, obscure names that was never in the game. So, they added a few more audio names. One thing I want to mention that they did not mention in the live stream, excuse me, is this new feature where whenever you're throwing the ball to different bases, it looks like you have to tap a couple of buttons like circle, square, X, and then your player is going to be throwing the ball to the whatever base that you picked to throw the ball to. I don't know if this is just another option to have as far as settings and difficulty, because I've seen other plays in this stream here where it didn't have that option. So maybe it's just a different option for us to choose to either make it easier or difficult. But this is something that I probably will try out just to see what it's about. It couldn't hurt. It looks pretty cool. To me, the best thing that they added to Road to the Show this year is the Draft Combine. And it looks like the first week you're going to be going through it looks like you're going to be going through your drills like we did before with the Bowman Scout Day. And then the next 3 weeks you're going to be playing actual games against other prospects. And I think it's going to be in the Diamondbacks ballpark, if I'm not mistaken. And then also on the top right, you can see what round you're projected. It says this guy is projected round 9, and it's not going to say that way. Your draft projection is going to go up or down depending on how good or how bad you are in those scout days. So that is a very nice addition to Road to the Show. Very, very much needed. As far as franchise mode, they introduce a setting in the game as far as like the menu before you start your franchise that I understand, but then it's kind of hard to explain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let one of the developers that was in the video explain it to you guys, and then we'll be right back.
So there's a few, but let's start with playing your way. We know that 162 games is quite a big investment in franchise. More likely than not, you're going to have to simulate some games. So, we want you to play your way. And so based on these two thoughts, we're introducing custom game entry to franchise. What is this? So this is basically just a group of conditions that you set that determine when you're going to go in and jump into gameplay as you're simulating. So the two main conditions are situation importance, and that's basically for the stat-savvy fans. We're talking about leverage index here, which determines how important, how critical a play is, and innings as well. So let's just talk about an example. Let's say you only want to play the most pivotal moments of a season. You set a very high situation importance. You set the 9th inning, the 8th inning, and you're typically going to be coming in with the bases with the winning or tying runners on base. Conversely, though, you can go to the other extreme, and let's say you want to have a more more traditional experience and the same amount of innings per game that you're playing. You can set your situation importance to be low, come in the 6th or 7th inning. You're basically turning franchise into a 3-inning mode instead of a 9-inning mode. So player choice doesn't end once you come into a game. Let's say the game hasn't been decided after the half inning when you came in. Well, then you'll have the choice of simulating until your conditions are met again, or just play the rest of the game. And of course, you'll have your full suite of options there in franchise, which quick manage, fast forward to, as I said, play your way. Last point I'll make is that the last condition in custom game entry is player highlight moments. And so for our longtime fans, these were formerly known as critical situations. And basically, we're going to prompt you to come into the game in big situations like finishing off no-hitters or cycles and, situations with tying or winning runners on base as well. But yeah, that is custom game entry in a nutshell.
Play your style, Luis, from our hardcore fans who want to experience the full 162 games of a season to our fans who just want to jump into those higher leverage situations, and then of course just having that flexibility to have any and every situation in between. It is truly up to our fans to experience and play their most desired play style in franchise. And then let's keep it going with these franchise updates. We saw the amateur draft was such a cool addition to franchise last year. Mirko, what can fans expect for this year?
Boy, that's correct. We implemented amateur draft in 23, and we continued to polish it and work on it through the course of the 23 cycle as you played. And that's the approach we want to take for all of our features. We don't want to just ship a feature because we can always improve it. We can always make it better. And that doesn't mean that when we ship the feature, it's not complete. It is. It's a complete playable experience, but we can always make it better. And we don't want to leave any feature behind. We will continue to always improve upon it, even during the course of a year.
And just in case you missed it, Steve was talking about it, but we provided quite a few updates to amateur draft throughout the 23 cycle, such as generational talents, late bloomers. Those deal with the prospects that you're scouting and drafting. We also added UI improvements such as the draft lottery screen, pitch types in the amateur player card. So a bunch of stuff was patched in. Let's talk about 24, though. So, few more additions to this year. We're starting with improved logic dealing with undrafted and unsigned prospects. So basically, these prospects are progressing in between drafts, simulating the experience that these players would get from playing in college and then being eligible for the draft the following year. We also improved the prospect draft logic for injured players. Basically, there's an inherent risk with injury with these players, and so these players would end up sliding down draft boards in the CPU draft boards, and it presents an interesting decision for you as the player as well. Do you want to take the risk of getting this player who might be an injury risk, but if you hit, you've got an amazing prospect on your hands. We also added the prospect promotion incentive. It's a little bit of a mouthful. That's PPI for short. It's a new rule in the majors that encourages teams to promote their best prospects for draft pick compensation. So there's criteria for this to be triggered, basically being top 3 in the MVP, Cy Young, winning Rookie of the Year. So these are the things that trigger that compensation. And we've also added a screen that helps you track what players are eligible for PPI.
This year in franchise, you can also load your roster with injuries. So let's say Jacob deGrom is out with an injury right now. You can start your franchise with Jacob deGrom injured. You don't have to start with no injuries where it's not realistic. If you want to have that immersion and realisticness in your franchise mode, this year you can do that. Last but not least, another thing I am so excited about is they have now added a tab in your player card for your awards. I cannot tell you guys how annoying it was to try and track down your awards and see how many awards that you've won, because you would have to go to a specific setting in a specific tab in Road to the Show to see every single award that you've won, every single all the years prior. You have to go to a certain tab to see all the awards that you have won prior. And it was always hard. It was always very difficult to keep track of. So with them implementing this tab, it is a big W for me. So big W for me on that, and I really like that addition. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video, and tell me what you guys think about what you have heard and seen in this video or in their live stream. Tell me your feedback, tell me what you think. Are you going to play, or first of all, are you going to buy MLB The Show this year? And if so, what game mode are you going to play? Are you going to play Road to the Show? Are you going to play Franchise? Or are you going to play Diamond Dynasty? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.